All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video and another NBA playoff video. In this video, we're going to talk about two games from last night: the Orlando Magic versus the Detroit Pistons, and the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Phoenix Suns. Both the last games at the higher seeds' home court. Both series will move sites to Orlando and Phoenix next game. So, yeah, let's talk about these games. If you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So, the first game I want to talk about here, I'm going to try to keep this a little brief because it is only two games. I think I've been doing this long enough now where I can probably get through two games fairly quickly. And both these games were interesting for about three quarters. Um, for the Orlando Magic and the Detroit Pistons got the win 98 to the Orlando Magic's 83. And this was off a really good performance from the whole starting five from the Pistons. Came out very energized, very confident. They didn't panic when, obviously, because they were down 1-0 coming into this game. Now the series is tied 1-1. And it was a way better start for the Pistons overall, just on both ends, defensively, offensively. Um, there was some stuff that the Orlando Magic did that slowed down the Pistons at times, but the Pistons just kept applying pressure to Orlando and didn't let them stay around in this game too long. The final score is 83-89, but throughout the course of this game, the Orlando Magic outscored, or the Detroit Pistons outscored the Orlando Magic two times, almost three times, and in the final quarter, the fourth quarter, the Orlando Magic scored 21 points, and the Detroit Pistons scored 90 or 14 points to end with the final box score. Um, so yeah, what else do I have here? This wasn't a terrible loss for Orlando. They still looked confident. I don't know how high they were riding off the two play-in victories, and then obviously this first one um, in Detroit to get the win. I don't know if that was a fluke. I think I said yesterday it's not a fluke, and I think the Pistons know what to do. I think the Orlando Magic, if anything, throughout this series, however long it is going to give a pretty good game plan to the rest of the people that have to play the Pistons, what to do to try to beat them. Because the Pistons are the number one seed, they're the favorites going to the Eastern Conference, finals. So when you look at it like that, the the Orlando Magic might not have the mindset to do it, or even the bodies to do it, but for everybody else in the conference, they should be grateful that the Orlando Magic are giving the Detroit Pistons such a tough time already. But yeah, in this loss for Orlando is what I meant to say. Paolo with 18, Franz Wagner with 12, Wendell Carter with 3, Desmond Bain with 12, Jalen Suggs with 19. They ran out the same scheme that they did last time to beat this Pistons team, and what they did in Game 1. And it worked a little bit. I think it does need some tweaking, though, if they do want to get another game, preferably at home. Um, I don't know what that is because even if you look at this as a really positive game for the Pistons, Duncan Robinson didn't have a great game. Jalen Duren didn't have a good game, and the Pistons still won. Asor Thompson had a really great game defensively. I almost forgot to mention that. 2 blocks, 1 steal on the night for Asor. Um, but otherwise, the Pistons have this in hand. They really do. I think they got it. They got a little spooked the first game. They're like, oh wait, it's actually the playoffs. And like I said in that video, and I think I think I what did I hear? They were doing something. I don't know if it was pregame or you know halftime show, but the consensus was that the Pistons, with that layoff that they had, the breaks in between the regular season and the playoffs, did not treat them well. It was not a good first game for them, and this was actually their first playoff game, and they played very well. As a collective, there are individuals that could definitely play better to help Cade out, but you get Isaiah Stewart 10 off the bench, you get a couple 4 points, 3 points, 2 point games from guys, and you really lock in defensively on this Orlando Magic team that struggles to be something more than two dimensional. You saw it in the first game where the Orlando Magic were more than two dimensional. They were three dimensional. They were moving the ball. Paulo was really on fire, and you try to minimize that stuff. If you're the Pistons and if you're the Orlando Magic, you have to sort of try to start doing some different stuff. I mean, I don't want Desmond Bain to struggle for his shots. He shouldn't have to do that. 2 for 11 from field goal, 2 of 7 from three. He should not be struggling that much. Um, he played 34 minutes. It should be. You need to get him more involved off the ball and get some really good looks because the Pistons do that with Duncan Robinson. They do it with a couple other guys, Karis LeVert, Kevin Herter, and it works and it helps pad their lead and it helps um, them win these playoff games. And yeah, I'm rambling now. I'm rambling. This wasn't a bad loss for Orlando. When I was watching this game, it got kind of ugly at times, but it didn't feel like the Orlando Magic were down on themselves. It felt like they were still very much confident that they could at least sneak another game, maybe two, um, in this series. Again, your final score: Detroit Pistons 98, Orlando Magic 83, and then the other game, the far more boring game. Um, Phoenix Suns versus Oklahoma City Thunder. Um, in front of you, bottom of your screen, top of your screen, the other matchup. Um, this game, man, I have nothing to say about this game really. um, well, I have lots of notes about this game, but they're all kind of just like reactionary notes of like what happened on the screen and stuff during the game. But the Oklahoma City Thunder have done this all year, where I'm not sure if it's on purpose or like they do it unintentionally, but like they'll lull their almost said enemy, their opponent, we'll say, um, into like a false sense of security that oh the game's really close, we could like win this game, the other team, and then like the fourth quarter rolls around, and they're like this is a little too close. The Oklahoma City Thunder are like this is a little too close. We need to make this like a 15-20 point lead, and they just turn it on. And even with the stuff that happened this game, Jalen Williams did leave this game, um, with a I believe the same hamstring that he was dealing with all season practically. So he re-aggravated that, so he did not return in this game. But when Jalen Williams was out there, he looked really good. He looked the best he had looked all year to me. He looked really good. And it's such a shame that he tweaked or re-aggravated that hamstring that he's been dealing with. But for this Thunder team, it is so hard to be like, are they playing down to the competition? Are they just like fooling around? Like, because like this is what the Warriors used to do. This is what like really good, we'll say borderline for at least the Thunder dynastic teams where it's like we know we don't have to play 110% every quarter. Some of the players obviously like Lou Dort, Jay Lynn Williams, Jayln Williams, Alex Caruso, Kason Wallace. You have guys on this team who play 110% all the time, because that's their prerogative. That's what they're here to do. But you have other guys on this team who are more lackadaisical, more relaxed about it, and that's not a dig at them. That's just like what they are. They go through the motions a little bit, and then when that building starts getting hyped, the Paycom Center, where Thunder play, the vibes start going. It starts to get scary, and I bring up the Warriors because I realized I didn't finish my thought about that. Was um, it would just happen in runs, and the runs would be so disorienting to the other team that one moment, specifically in this game, the the Suns were within 7 points of the Thunder, and then the Thunder just went like on a 13-point run or something like that, and the lead was back up to 20. And I don't want to make insinuations about guys, but like guys like Dylan Brooks, guys like um, whoever else on this team were kind of like star. That's the word's not starstruck, but they were just in awe. They were like, "What the hell just happened? what happened? They were just so disoriented from it. And Dylan Brooks has been in a lot of big games, and for him to be disoriented is kind of crazy by the overwhelming bludgeoning that the Thunder occasionally do to teams. And they went through the motions the first 3 quarters of this game, and then the fourth quarter, the Suns started really like giving it their all. Like either it's win one right now or they're probably gonna sweep us. um, and they tried. They really tried. The Suns did not go away even with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in this game. They were causing a ruckus. There were so many stoppages of play to check like is this a technical, is this whatever, a flagrant foul, and just like the refs not wanting them to fight, so they had to separate both teams at some point. Um, the Thunder really played with the Suns, and I could see how demoralizing that is if you're a Suns player and you're like, we tried our hardest the whole game, and especially in the fourth, just for this team to like go through the motions all 3 quarters, and still be a really good team, a really competent team, a really smooth operating team. Just for them to show up in the fourth and be like, nah, just because we're out Jalen Williams doesn't mean we can't win this game, and we're not the champions still. Um, Jet Holmgren 19, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander 37, Jalen Williams only 23 minutes played, 19 points, really good. Um, Alex Caruso 7, AJ Mitchell 14 hit some really big shots down the stretch, and yeah, the Thunder just really really turned it on when they really wanted to. Essentially, it was just so because like you don't see a lot of these dynastic teams, right? Like these teams that really emphasize what they're about and they don't want to play the game the other team's playing. They just want to play the game they know and they've been practicing that. That's won them championships. And I find it so interesting because like we haven't had like let me see, we haven't had a um, young team. How do I say this? I'm trying to say this the right way. We haven't had a young team that we know is going to be together, at least some part of it, for an extended period of time. You know, um, the last couple champions haven't been that. Sans a couple like the Celtics. Yeah, definitely, it's still happening for them. I wouldn't say Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum are quite the youngest they used to be, but there's still a young duo that and they've kept the core group together still. Um, 2 years removed from their NBA championship now. Um, that's one where you're like, oh, we know what they're gonna do. We know what Jalen, Jason, and whatever third star they bring in is gonna do. Denver Nuggets a little bit, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, um, dynastic sort of vibes and like the runs they would go on, whether it be defensively or offensively. Um, Crazy. This odd year with the Golden State Warriors won in 2022. Milwaukee Bucks weren't quite young enough. They were just that was their championship window. They won that. That Lakers team, some variation of this Lakers team, did have a future, considering how much more LeBron has played. 6 years removed from his last championship. Um, Toronto Raptors. I would say they were probably just at right place, right time. They weren't a young dynasty, and then obviously 2017, 2018, 2015, 2016. You start getting back into the more dynastic teams, the Warriors, the San Antonio Spurs, the Heat. These are all teams that competed multiple years for against different matchups in the finals to win the championship. And the Oklahoma City Thunder are the latest group where I watch them and I'm like, they really just went on like a 15-point run and everybody touched the ball and everybody did the right thing. And even if it didn't go down the first time, it was a kick out, and now you have a second chance opportunity. You know, I don't know why I'm rambling about the Thunder going on huge runs. It's something we've seen all year, but um, I just thought it was interesting that this isn't like a flash in the pan. This team's going to be around for at least in some variation of the roster for the next like 5 years. And that's exactly what the Warriors have been. I mean, you go back to their first championship 2015 all the way up to 2020. What is that? That we'll say that whole window they were operating to win a championship, right? So what is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 years. of the last dynastic team in the Warriors, that they sort of wanted their window open, whether it was actually open or not. Um, was left up to injury, and obviously stuff happened in between 2015 and 2022. Real world implications and stuff. Um, but it's just so interesting to watch because you can see the Suns team really wants to win this game, and you see how crazy it drives Dylan Brooks. You see how many like shots Jalen Green's trying to get and trying to like keep his team in the game, and he had 21, but it was on 8 of 23 shooting. Not great. So yeah, I think that's it. A little shorter video. The last thing I do want to talk about very briefly is Keldon Johnson winning Sixth Man of the Year. Congratulations to Keldon. I believe when I did my awards, I had Keldon winning this award. And I don't know if I emphasized it in that video, but for what Keldon's been through, um, he's been in the league 6 years. It doesn't even feel like he's been in the league 6 years, but he has. Um, this guy has been through it all. You get drafted to San Antonio thinking you're gonna be the guy. You're gonna be one of the main um, building blocks. Like a star player for this team, and it really doesn't happen. Your rookie year, you start one game, you play 17, 19, not 19, 9.1 points per game, 3 rebounds, barely an assist, 59% from two, 59% from three. Oh, that's really weird. That was very close. Um, Only played 17 minutes, took 5 shots a game. And you go through the years here 2021, 2020, 2021, 69 games played, 67 started. The following year, 75 games played, 64 started. Um, the year after that, 63 games started, 63 games played. 2023, 2024, 69 games played, 27 games started. And then last year was the year it really started, 2024, 2025. He played 77 games, did not start once. Did not start once. And then this year, I almost said the penultimate second. Um, the apex for Keldon Johnson, 2025, 2026, played all 82 games and did not start a single game. 3-point shooting, 36%, the best of his career on those kind of attempts, 4+ attempts. Um, and then 2-point percentage, all the way up to 60, the best of his career. His effective field goal, the best of his career. Minutes played, 23 minutes. Was this the fourth or fifth most minutes of his career? Let's see here. Got a little ad in the way. Points, not a career high in points, but he has been a 20-point scorer in this league. I want that to be known. 13 points per game. One and a half assists. 5 rebounds. Was that the fourth most of his career? Fourth or fifth most of his career. And then his free throw, the best of his career at 79%. Um, a really great year. A really great year for Keldon, and congrats to him. And the Spurs are racking up the awards. They have defensive player. They have sixth man. Will they get MVP? Will they get Coach of the Year? I don't know. But yeah, that's it. That's the video. Do I have anything else to say? Um, Schedule might be a bit weird. I know I said my last video that uploads would be every other day, contingent on the, or depending on the NBA schedule. Like this video is only 2 games. I want to talk about these games today because if I do it tomorrow, it's going to be, was it 6 games to talk about? I don't want to do that all the time. I know those videos are very long and you guys sometimes don't want the longer form content. So you guys get videos depending on the NBA schedule and depending on how many games I'm going to have to talk about in one video. So keep your eye out for obviously all playoffs for my NBA playoff stuff. You will have a WNBA video at some point in the next couple days. I'll say 4 or 5 days or so. I've been working on something for you guys that want WNBA stuff. And yeah, and the outro should be playing right now. Check out the playlist on the right. Check out the video on the left. If you click my little icon right in the middle, a little subscribe will pop up next to it. You can click that and you can subscribe with ease. Yeah, like and comment as well, and I will see you all next time. Cheers.